In this video, I'd like to show you how I created these using alcohol ink. First off, I'm using white eggs for this project. I don't want to use brown eggs because the alcohol ink won't show up as well on it. And then also what I want to do is empty this egg. So I don't want the inside. I'd rather just have just the eggshell itself. So how do I do that? I'm going to use this gadget. It's called Blast Fix. So when you open the box, you've got, it looks like a little drill that we're gonna put a hole in the eggshell with. And then this is to blow out the inside. It does have instructions, so you can read that if you need a little more detail, but I'll show you. So you need to make sure that the egg is not cracked because it can explode. I've had that happen. So I take the part of the egg where it's the non-pointy part, the fatter part, and then I hold the egg to kind of give it support around and press firmly. This, if you look at it, it almost looks like a little drill. So I'm going to put it on the egg and turn it as I apply pressure, and that will start making a hole in it. You do have to keep it in a same spot, so it may take a little bit, but just go back and forth and you'll start creating a little hole. So once you have it, you can see on the egg, you can see the hole that I kind of started right there. So once you have the beginning, then just keep going back and forth. You don't have to just keep going around and round. You can go forward and backward. It does the same thing. So once you have the hole, this will have sunk in. So you'll see it go like this. And believe it or not, we're gonna get the entire contents of that egg through that little hole with this part. This acts as a pumping mechanism, so we're just going to pump it out of the egg. And I like to take this and kind of poke it in and out a few times, and that breaks up the yolk. If you put your thumb over the hole, then you're creating pressure to push to whatever air is in here goes inside the egg, and it pushes out the egg, and you can see it. And you can see eventually you'll see the yolk coming out. And we're just building air inside the egg to make sure that we're getting everything out. Once you have, you've pressed this enough and everything seems to have come out at this point, what I do is I'll usually take this to the sink and then I'll put water in here. And I'm filling this part up with water, so this acts as a sprayer inside. So instead of blowing air in, which is what's in here at the moment, it's gonna blow water in here to clean out the rest of the egg. I've filled this up with water in here, and as you can see, the water spritzing out here. And I'm going to do the same thing, but now I'm doing it with water inside the egg. And that's to wash out the inside of the egg. I do use hot water for this portion. And just keep repeating this. I would probably do it 3 or 4 times with this filled up with hot water so that the inside of the egg is completely cleaned out. And you can feel, if you're using hot water, you can feel that the egg is getting warm. Now the egg is totally empty. It's super light. So now I have the eggs here and they have all been emptied. In here, I have 4 cups of cold water, and I'm using these colors. It's Wild Plum, Valencia, and Indigo. At this point, you can certainly take a brush and color them however you wish, but I wanted to see if I can get sort of a marbled look on the egg. So in order to do that, what I tried, you want the alcohol ink to float on the surface. And I found this, I had this from another project, acrylic medium. You're technically meant to mix this into acrylics to make it flow a little better, but I wanted to see if I can use this to make the alcohol ink float on the top. So to 4 cups of water, I am adding about 25 drops of this. Okay, so once I have it in here, use something to stir this with. And then at this point, I'm just going to drop the color onto the surface. Now, this, if I just were to drop it once I have the color on here, it's gonna kind of just float on top since this is empty. So I want to be able to control it a little bit, and I'm gonna put a, this is a wire into the egg so that I can hold on to it and not have my fingers on the ink. So I'll show you that part. But at this point, I'm just going to add these colors to the surface, and you'll see how they kind of spread out as I add the color. So it's just on top at this point. But if I were to add the next color to it, let's see what that does. See how it makes it kind of spread out? It breaks up the other alcohol ink. Okay, so I think I have enough ink there to cover that egg, and then I'll take, and all the ink is just on the surface. I will take the egg. Let's see, make sure it's dry. So I'm holding it in, and then I'm gonna start on one end and kind of roll it across to make sure that it picks up the color from across the ink. And you can try and dunk it a little bit. I'm just gonna put it in a piece of styrofoam to dry standing up. Now this, what's on here, you can clean it off with a piece of paper so that you have a clean surface again. So this one I dunked instead of trying to roll it, and just shake off the excess. So you can see some of the color still came, some of the purples, but I did add the pinks on there as well. So at this point I'm just skimming the surface of the water. Add some additional colors here. So it's a little harder to see them now because it's kind of muddy, but the color is there. So I think I find it easier to just have this water deep enough where you can dunk the whole egg versus trying to roll it across, just because it's hard to roll it on the wire that I'm holding it. So this is how they turn out once they are completely dry. Now these two I left as they are. And again, they're super light, and these are just for decorative purposes. But you can create some cool designs. This one I sprayed with an acrylic seal, and what it did was it did lighten up the color a lot. So it did give it a shine, but it made it much lighter. Like this was a darker red, this was a deeper blue, and everything kind of became pastels. And then this one, what I did was I wanted to see if I could seal it with Mod Podge. And this became nice and shiny. I'm not sure if you can see the shine in here. So this became a little shinier, but you can see some of the streaks on it. So I actually prefer this matte velvety look from these ones. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you end up trying this out, feel free to post it in my Facebook group. Would love to see what you come up with. If you have any questions, comment below. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next project.